The Lee Jae Myung administration and the ruling party have announced their government reorganization plan, featuring major dismantling and restructuring, and sparking a backlash from the opposition parties. For more on this, we turn to our political correspondent, Shin Ha-young. Welcome back, Ha-young.
Good evening.
So, Ha-young, why don't we go over with the key changes in the government reorganization plan? Walk us through them.
Well, one of the most notable changes is the dismantling of the Prosecutors Office 70 years after its establishment in 1948. And the plan announced Sunday reflects the prosecution reform goals of the ruling Democratic Party, the government, and the presidential office. And under the plan, the Prosecutors Office will be dismantled and replaced by two new agencies, one under the Justice Ministry handling indictments and another under the Interior Ministry handling investigations. And the changes will take effect 1 year after the plan is approved by the National Assembly and announced to the public, with a task force under the Prime Minister's office set up to work out the details of the reform.
Prosecution reform is one of the president's key pledges. There have been ongoing concerns that the prosecution has abused its unchecked power and undermined fairness, with selective investigations and arbitrary indictments deepening public distrust.
And reorganization will also affect the Finance Ministry, which will continue handling taxation, economic policy, and treasury matters, but budget planning will be transferred to a new agency under the Prime Minister's supervision. And the Environment Ministry will be expanded to take over energy policy responsibilities that are currently handled by the Industry Ministry. A new Deputy Prime Minister for Science and Technology will be created to oversee AI, and the Deputy Prime Minister for Social Affairs position held by the Education Minister will be abolished.
Now, Ha-young, I mentioned a strong backlash from the opposition parties. How is the ruling parties, what is the ruling party's plan going forward from here?
Well, first of all, the announcement of the government reorganization plan immediately sparked a backlash from the main opposition People Power Party. And the PPP claimed it was not a reorganization, but rather the destruction of government. Take a listen.
This government reorganization plan that splits, dismantles, and adds agencies is a reckless experiment on the executive branch and our constitutional order.
And regarding prosecution reform, the PPP floor leader called it political retaliation against the prosecution for investigating Democratic Party figures, adding that if the Interior Ministry also takes control of the investigation agency, it could become a monster ministry. And despite the backlash, the ruling DP plans to pass the government reorganization plan in the National Assembly's plenary session later this month. And take a listen to what the DP leader had to say.
Reform is all about timing. This Chuseok holiday, we will share the good news that the Prosecutor's Office has been abolished and is now part of history.
And the DP leader also said that if the prosecution reform succeeds, it'll be thanks to President Lee Jae Myung's strong determination and leadership, adding that the party, government, and presidential office will work together as one to ensure a smooth follow-up.
So there's that, the ongoing political standoff between the rival parties. But in the meantime, President Lee Jae Myung did meet with the leaders of the two main parties here in South Korea. Ha-young, how did that go?
Well, yesterday's lunch meeting was indeed in the spotlight. And beforehand, tensions were so high that many wondered if the ruling and opposition leaders would even shake hands. But they met and were seen smiling and shaking hands. And the president and the two parties agreed to create a consultative body on livelihood-related matters, with the details to be finalized later. And the PPP leader raised concerns over the lack of national consensus on the reorganization plan and urged caution on prosecution reform, while President Lee said that the opposition's views would be fully reflected. And of course, many issues remain, and one meeting won't immediately smooth out cooperation between the rival parties. And in fact, the DP plans to push for expanding the powers of the ongoing special counsel investigations at the upcoming plenary session this week. And Monday's event was definitely a first step toward cooperation, but how much progress they make on specific issues will likely shape the political landscape.
Indeed, Ha-young, thank you as always for coming in.
My pleasure.